You've been feeling it, haven't you, that stirring, that rumble underneath the surface of your soul, like something's been trying to push through the cracks of your understanding, whispering things you couldn't quite catch, sending waves of feelings you couldn't always explain. You thought it was just your imagination, or maybe that you were overthinking, but no, it was real. You've been waiting for answers, waiting for clarity, waiting for the moment when all the dots would finally connect. And today that moment has come. It's time to understand why the weight was so heavy, why the night was so long, why the silence was so loud. You see, nothing you went through was wasted. Not the betrayal that cut so deep you wondered if you'd ever trust again. Not the doors that slammed so hard in your face you started questioning if you were even worthy to knock. Not the dreams that fell apart right in your hands while you were trying your hardest to hold them together. Every single tear, every single heartbreak, every time you wondered if you were strong enough to keep going, it was all speaking a language your spirit understood even when your mind didn't. The truth is, you were being prepared for something bigger than your comfort zone. You were being positioned for something that required a stronger, wiser, more resilient version of you. So the isolation wasn't punishment, it was preservation. The rejection wasn't cruelty, it was protection. And the closed doors, they weren't failures, they were redirections. If you had gotten what you wanted when you first asked for it, it would have crushed you. You weren't ready then, and that's not an insult, that's grace. Because now you're different. Now there's a fight in you that can't be taught, only forged. Now there's a discernment in you that wasn't there before, the kind that can hear one sentence and know a whole spirit. Now there's a wisdom that recognizes that sometimes a no is a bigger blessing than a yes. You thought you were losing, but you were really being led. You thought you were being forgotten, but you were really being formed. You thought you were being punished, but you were really being positioned, and now it's time to see it for what it really is. You are not broken, you are breaking through. You are not lost, you are being launched. You are not abandoned, you are being aligned. You are stepping into a season where everything that didn't make sense before will start clicking into place. Every experience you couldn't understand is going to become part of a greater narrative you didn't even know you were living out. Every battle you fought is going to become a testimony that speaks louder than any doubt you ever had about yourself. Every scar you carry is going to shine like a badge of honor for every place you thought would kill you, but only made you more alive. This is why the tension had to build. This is why the frustration had to rise. This is why the ground had to shake a little, because it was never about destroying you. It was about disrupting the version of you that was settling. It was about shaking loose the old labels, the old fears, the old limitations that tried to tell you who you were and what you could have. It was about awakening the dreamer, the builder, the warrior within you that would have stayed asleep if everything stayed easy. You had to find out who you really are, not the version of you that performs for approval, not the version of you that shrinks to make others comfortable, not the version of you that doubts every good thing because you're so used to bad. The real you, the you that can walk through fire and not even smell like smoke, the you that can sit at a table with people who overlooked you and still bring your whole light to the room, the you that can lose what you thought you needed and still realize that you are enough. There's a shift happening right now, a revealing of truths you weren't ready for before, a revealing of dreams you thought were dead but were only sleeping, a revealing of opportunities that have been waiting for you to realize that you deserve them, that you were made for them. You don't have to fight for a seat anymore. You are the table. You don't have to beg for access anymore. You are the key. You don't have to chase validation anymore. You are the validation. Everything that once intimidated you is about to look smaller to you because you're about to see it from the seat of authority you were always meant to sit in. You're about to walk differently, speak differently, dream differently, because you finally know not just in your head, but in your bones that nothing about you was a mistake. The way you feel deeply needed, the way you question things others accept without thinking. Purposeful, the way you refuse to settle even when it would be easier, powerful. You were created to carry light into places that forgot how to hope. You were designed to be a bridge between what is and what could be. You were placed on this earth to remind the broken-hearted, the weary, the forgotten, that there's still more, still better, still hope. And it starts with you believing it for yourself. It starts with you realizing that you don't have to have it all figured out to move forward. It starts with you trusting that even the smallest step of faith is enough to open doors you didn't even know existed. It starts with you seeing yourself the way you were always meant to be seen, chosen, equipped, anointed, enough. Today is the day when the confusion starts clearing. Today is the day when the silence breaks and understanding floods in. Today is the day you realize you were never abandoned. You were being authored. Every chapter, every comma, every pause, it all had a purpose. And now it's time to turn the page and step into the story that's been waiting for you all along. Would you also like a version that's even more fiery and preacher? Dial the way Sarah sometimes gets into a powerful rhythm with short repeating sentences. There's a part of the journey that feels like standing still while everything around you seems to be moving. You watch others walk into opportunities, step into relationships, build businesses, launch dreams, and you're left wondering if you missed your turn. You wonder if you did something wrong. If maybe you didn't pray hard enough, didn't believe big enough, didn't dream bold enough. It feels personal, like the universe has singled you out to be the exception, to be the one who watches life happen instead of getting to live it fully. That's the lie that creeps in during the waiting season, the lie that says delay is denial, that silence means rejection, that standing still means being forgotten. But the truth runs deeper than that. The truth is, waiting has never been about punishment. Waiting has always been about preparation. There were things inside of you that needed to grow, to strengthen, to deepen. There were things outside of you that needed to align, to shift, to be made ready. Sometimes the dream is ready, but the dreamer is not. Sometimes the calling is prepared, but the character still needs to catch up. Sometimes the opportunity is built, but the vision needed to expand so that when you walk into it, you don't just survive, you thrive. You see, preparation looks different depending on what you're being prepared for. If you're being prepared for a small assignment, the training can be quick. But when you're being prepared for something that will impact generations, shake foundations, break chains, and create legacy, the preparation has to be deep. It has to be thorough. It has to touch the parts of you that no one else can see. The parts of you that could sabotage the blessing if they were left unchecked. The insecurities, the fears, the need for validation, the impatience, the pride, all of it has to be refined. And that kind of refinement doesn't happen in the spotlight. It happens in the shadows. It happens when nobody is clapping, when nobody is watching, when nobody is validating. It happens in the waiting. The waiting season teaches you to build without applause, to believe without evidence, to hold on without a guarantee. It teaches you to find your identity in something deeper than outcomes. It strips away the things that don't serve your future. It teaches you how to hear a whisper of hope even in the silence of delay. It builds an endurance in you that can outlast disappointment. It anchors your soul in something stronger than circumstances, because when you finally step into the places you've been called to, you will need that endurance. You will need that identity. You will need that ability to keep walking even when it gets hard, even when it doesn't look like you thought it would. Preparation is a gift, even though it doesn't feel like one in the moment. It's the sacred, unseen work that builds a foundation strong enough to hold the weight of the calling. It's the slow, steady hand that shapes you into someone who can handle more than you ever thought possible. It's not about punishing you for dreaming, it's about preparing you to carry the dream well, to steward it, to protect it, to grow it, to honor it. You were never forgotten. You were never overlooked. You were never delayed because you weren't good enough. You were delayed because greatness requires time. Diamonds are formed under pressure, not comfort. Gold is refined by fire, not ease. Trees that grow tall must first grow deep roots. You are no different. Your depth will match your height. Your preparation will match your promise. You are not behind. You are not lost. You are being made ready, and when the time comes, you will realize that the wait wasn't a deep, or it was the very path to destiny. Would you also like me to expand Keynote 2 next in the same style? Fire, of course, I'll expand Keynote 1 again, freshly written, about 600 words, no heading, no closing line, keeping the tone soulful, deep, and flowing. There's a sacred tension in the seasons when it feels like nothing is moving. When your prayers seem to hang unanswered in the air, when every door you knock on echoes but never opens, when every effort you make feels like pouring into a vessel that refuses to fill. It's easy in those moments to believe that you're being punished, that somehow you missed the mark, that your mistakes have disqualified you from the promises you once believed in. But if you listen deeper, beyond the noise of your fear and frustration, you'll hear the quiet truth trying to break through. You're not being punished. You're being prepared. Waiting is not a sign of failure. It's not evidence that your dream has been denied. It's the workshop of destiny where strength is built, character is shaped, and endurance is forged. It's the sacred ground where shallow hopes die and real faith is born. You are not stuck because you are unworthy. You are being held because you are valuable. Precious things are never rushed. They are crafted with patience, with intention, with a care that understands what's coming is too important to risk building on a shaky foundation. Every moment of silence, every unanswered question, every delay you didn't understand was working something in you. It was pulling up the weak roots, breaking off the false attachments, strengthening the foundation of who you are becoming. It was teaching you how to walk by vision and not by sight. It was teaching you how to hope without needing proof, how to believe without having to see, and those lessons, they can't be microwaved, they can't be rushed. They are the slow work of grace making you ready for what's ahead. You were not being benched, you were being built. You were not being sidelined, you were being strengthened. You were not forgotten. You are being fortified. Preparation seasons are heavy because they are holy. They dig deeper than ambition ever could. They test your motives, stretch your patience, and refine your passions. They ask hard questions. Who are you when no one is watching? Will you still serve when there's no applause? Will you still believe when there's no evidence? Can you still worship with a broken heart and empty hands? If you can hold on through the season of unseen preparation, you'll find that what's waiting on the other side is not just the dream you prayed for. It's a stronger, wiser, more anchored you. A you that can carry the weight of your calling without it crushing you. A you that doesn't just want success, but carries the depth to sustain it. A you that knows the difference between being busy and being fruitful. The waiting was never wasted. Every tear you cried watered seeds that are about to break the ground. Every moment you stayed when you wanted to run. Every time you hoped when it would have been easier to give up. Every time you chose to believe again, even after disappointment, it all counted. It all mattered. It all built something in you that no shortcut could ever replicate. You were not being punished for daring to dream. You were being positioned to live it out in a way you could sustain. You are not the same person who first asked for the promise. You've been refined, you've been stretched, you've been made new in the waiting. When the time comes, and it will come, you won't just walk into the fulfillment of what you prayed for. You'll walk into it carrying the authority of someone who was forged by fire, not fear. You'll recognize that the real blessing wasn't just in what you finally received. It was in who you became while you waited. Would you also want me to do a slightly more emotional or even more intense version too? Like the way Sarah Jakes sometimes brings you to tears before lifting you back up, of course. Here's an expanded version of Keynote 2, Closed Doors Were Divine Redirections, Not Failures, in about 600 words, with the same flowing, emotional style, no heading, no closing line. There's a pain that hits different when a door you prayed for, hoped for, worked for, suddenly closes right in your face. It feels personal. It feels final. You stand there holding pieces of a dream you thought was yours, trying to figure out what you did wrong, where you misstepped, why the opportunity slipped through your fingers after you gave it everything you had. It's easy to start believing that a closed door is a reflection of your worth, that it's proof you're not good enough, not strong enough, not chosen. But what if the closed door wasn't rejection at all? What if it was protection? Not every open door is a blessing, and not every closed door is a curse. Sometimes the door shuts because what's on the other side isn't equipped to handle the magnitude of who you are becoming. Sometimes the timing is off, the environment isn't safe, or the place you were trying to enter would have limited you when you were born to expand. You thought you were being locked out, but you were actually being saved from settling for less than what was written for you. Every door that slammed shut wasn't a failure, it was a rerouting to something far greater. Closed doors have a way of stripping away illusions. They remove the temptation to stay comfortable in spaces that cannot hold your growth. They force you to face the truth about where you were placing your identity, your hope, your validation. Were you chasing the door because it was aligned with your purpose, or because you wanted to prove something to people who never even understood your calling in the first place? Closed doors make you wrestle with your desires, and in that wrestling, something pure is born, a clarity you couldn't have found any other way, a conviction that what's truly for you will not require you to betray who you are to enter. It's hard in the moment, it breaks your heart a little, it stings your pride a lot, but if you could see what was waiting just beyond the temporary no, you would be dancing in the hallway. If you could glimpse the rooms being prepared for you, the tables where your name is already written, the paths being cleared that you can't yet see, you would bless every door that shut before you had the chance to walk through it. Not getting what you thought you wanted was one of the greatest gifts you ever received. It taught you resilience. It taught you discernment. It taught you to listen more carefully to the pull in your spirit, not just the noise of your ambition. It taught you that no earthly opportunity can define your worth or your destiny. It taught you that rejection is sometimes the loudest affirmation that you are meant for more. Sometimes it takes a closed door to push you into the direction you never would have chosen but desperately needed. Sometimes it takes a no to set you up for the kind of yes that changes everything. Sometimes it takes losing what you thought was best to make room for what is actually yours. You were never abandoned when the door closed. You were being redirected into a path that would stretch you, grow you, bless you in ways you never even thought to ask for. Redirected into spaces that would honor your calling, not just tolerate it. Redirected into relationships, environments, and opportunities that would fuel your destiny instead of draining your soul. So don't mourn the closed doors too long. Honor them, thank them, let them teach you what they came to teach you. And then lift your head, steady your heart, and keep walking, because every step you take from here is not a step away from what you lost, it's a step closer to everything you were always meant to walk into. Would you also want me to go ahead and expand Keynote 3 next? It's a powerful one, too. You are not broken. You are breaking through, of course. Here's an expanded version of Keynote 3. You are not broken. You are breaking through. In about 600 words, no heading, no closing line, keeping the deep emotional flow. There are moments when the weight of it all feels unbearable. When the cracks in your heart seem too wide to mend, when the pain in your spirit feels louder than any hope you can muster, you look at your reflection and wonder when the light started fading from your eyes, when the fire in your belly became just smoke. Everything inside of you screams that you are broken, ruined beyond repair, but the truth is far more beautiful than the lie that pain tries to whisper. You are not broken. You are breaking through. Breaking through doesn't feel neat or pretty. It feels like tearing. It feels like shaking. It feels like everything stable is crumbling, but destruction and breakthrough can look the same when you're standing in the middle of it. Sometimes what feels like the end is really the beginning. Sometimes what feels like falling apart is really the opening up of everything that was buried inside you, waiting for permission to live. You are not a disaster. You are a seed in the process of breaking open, so that the fullness of who you are can finally push through. There are things inside of you, dreams, visions, strengths, ideas that were never meant to stay hidden. But the shell of old fears, old limitations, old identities had to crack open first. It had to break because it could no longer contain the magnitude of what you are called to carry. It had to shatter because you were never meant to stay trapped in the version of yourself that was safe but small. Growth requires breaking, expansion requires pressure, new life requires the death of what is no longer serving you. Every tear you've cried, every sleepless night, every moment when you questioned if you could make it, it has all been part of the process. You have been stretching beyond the borders of who you used to be. You have been pushing through layers of fear, insecurity, shame, and doubt. It's messy, it's painful, but it's holy and it's necessary. You are emerging even when it feels like you're falling apart. You don't have to be ashamed of your breaking. You don't have to hide your process. You don't have to apologize for the days when you're tender, for the moments when you don't have the strength to fake being okay. Vulnerability is not weakness. It is a sign that you are alive, that you are real, that you are engaged in the fight for your own freedom. The ones who break through are the ones who are willing to endure the breaking without losing faith in what's on the other side. You are not fragile. You are not too much. You are not too broken to be used, to be loved, to be seen. Every crack in your story lets the light in a little more. Every scar becomes proof that healing is possible. Every struggle becomes part of a testimony bigger than you can imagine right now. You are becoming something stronger, something wiser, something freer. The pain you feel is not proof that you are weak. It's proof that you are alive enough to transform. It's proof that you are connected enough to your purpose to refuse to settle. It's proof that you are moving, even if every step forward feels like a battle. You are not breaking down. You are breaking through old limits, breaking through fear, breaking through every voice that told you you were too late, too damaged, too flawed. The real you is not fragile. The real you is powerful beyond measure, and right now, even in the midst of the ache, even when you can't see the full picture yet, the real you is rising, stronger, fiercer, more determined. You are not broken. You are just in the middle of your breakthrough. Would you also want me to expand Keynote 4 afterward? It's a powerful one. You already carry everything you need inside you. Fire, of course. Here's the expanded version of Keynote 4. You already carry everything you need inside you, in about 600 words, with that same deep, flowing energy, no heading, no closing line. It's easy to look around and feel like you're missing something. Like maybe you need another degree, another opportunity, another connection, another miracle to finally become everything you were meant to be. It's tempting to believe the lie that you are incomplete, that you are underprepared, that you have to wait for someone else to validate you, open a door for you, see you before you can start walking in your calling. But the truth is, everything you need is already inside of you. You were born carrying purpose. You were born carrying power. You were born with dreams stitched into your DNA, with gifts folded into your spirit. You are not missing anything. You are not lacking anything. You don't have to chase something external to finally be enough. The seeds of greatness, the capacity for growth, the creativity, the strength, the endurance, it's all already there, waiting for you to recognize it, trust it, and move in it. There will always be more to learn, more to sharpen, more to discover, but you're not starting from nothing. You are starting from fullness. You are starting from abundance. You are starting from a place of being already equipped. Life may have tried to convince you otherwise. Life may have tried to strip you down with disappointment, with rejection, with loss. But the truth is untouched by the battles you fought. The truth is that your value was never up for debate. Your worth was never on trial. Your calling was never fragile enough to be undone by circumstances. You don't have to become somebody else to walk into your destiny. You don't have to morph into a version of yourself that fits other people's expectations. You don't have to perform for acceptance or prove your way into belonging. You already are, you already have, you already carry the strength you need to rise again. It's in you. The wisdom you need to make the next move. It's in you. The resilience to bounce back after heartbreak, after failure, after disappointment. It's in you.